Hey guys, it's Scott from Horse Racing Daily, and today's video we're going to talk about Epicenter and his Travers win, and then how he matches up with Flightline. And I think over the weekend after Epicenter won the Travers, it kind of became more of the talk between Life is Good and Flightline and Olympiad, and now you can throw Epicenter. He kind of got a big four, and I think before the race people weren't as high on Epicenter, but coming out of this and then getting the high buyer speed figure, decent on the Equibase scale and everything. Now the conversation is going to turn certainly into, Epicenter versus Flightline, and who's going to win the race. And both horses come with their share of question marks, and both horses come with their share of success on the racetrack. And first, we're going to talk about Epicenter. And Epicenter had kind of been the tough luck horse between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. The Kentucky Derby, he had the lead turner for home, and ended up losing that race to Rich Strike, which everybody knows about. Then he came back in the Preakness and didn't get the best trip in the world. Actually, it was a terrible trip, and you figure with a better trip, he could probably turn the tables back on early voting in the Travers, and he certainly did that. And I think this horse has taken, a little step forward from the beginning of the year. I don't think it's as high of a step forward as some of the speed figures lead to believe, as you can see he's still, got a 110 in the Travers, 111 in the Jim Dandy. He's certainly been improving, but we're going to look over at Flightline for a minute. And Flightline on the Equibase scale just had a whole nother, level. We ran a 120.70 allowance race at Del Mar last year. And in the Run Happy Malibu, he ran a 126. And then he came back, in the Met Mile. That was his first race since, December of last year. And he got a 114, which, it's kind of be expected, maybe not to run your best the first off of that kind of a layoff. Now he runs Pacific Classic this week unless something crazy happens. And, this time he'll be going a mile and a quarter, and this horse has never ran further than a mile. So it's certainly going to be a, big challenge to add those extra couple furlongs. And, you don't know, he may not like a mile and a quarter. His pedigree says he should. He's by a Tappet, and, when it comes to the Belmont, Tappets typically dominate the Belmont. So distance should not be a problem. The horse obviously has the speed. He's just been tearing it up on these sprint races. So I personally think Flightline's going to, win the race. And you look at his workouts. I'm going to post some of the videos either today or tomorrow. And, this horse has been working out tremendously on the racetrack. You can, even though a lot of the works are by himself, it just looks to me so visually impressive. Like this horse is just on another, level with his workouts. And, if you go over to the buyer scale, it's a little bit, closer to who's going to, win between the two. You got Epicenter, who ran the 112 at, for the Travers. And you come to Flightline, in the Met Mile right here, and you can see he ran a 112. And, keep in mind that was his first start off that long layoff. And he actually ran a 118 in the Malibu last year. So I'd figure second start on the layoff, he probably could bump up closer to maybe that, 118. Might not quite get there. Say 115, 116, I think he could go. So I think Epicenter will still have a little bit of improvement to do to be able to, catch up the Flightline. But, it's certainly going to add some intrigue to the race. And you also got Olympiad that's working out this week, or I'm sorry, racing this week. And, people forgot about him. It was him versus Life was Good, in the Whitney. And Olympiad just didn't do so good. He fell flat on his face in that race. And, some people be quick to, throw a horse off its radar after a bad performance. After just one, I won't so much do that. I'll, start to see like maybe what happened, look more into the race. And then after a second straight bad performance, then I'll say, okay, this horse is obviously out of form because, maybe the horses didn't want to take to the racetrack that day. Maybe he just wasn't, filling up to par. We all have days where we wake up and we're not 100% or, don't feel our best. So, who's to say the same thing can't happen to horses? So, we'll see how Olympiad runs this week. I would expect Olympiad to maybe, get back to more of a Olympiad type performance. But I still think right now, Flightline is the top horse in my book. This week him running in the Pacific Classic can certainly change that. If he falls flat on his face, he's going to go down a lot of people's rankings. So it's going to be a very intriguing week for, racing a lot of big races to, point to the Breeders' Cup. So just keep an eye. It might not be the best for making money as, Flightline is going to be a 3 to 5. And He might get 8-5, 9-5 on Olympiad after he fell on his face in the last effort if you like him. But this week certainly bears intrigue to watch. And thanks for watching, guys. More to come.